2D fighters are a classic part of the history of gaming.
Who can forget the first time they coaxed Chun-Li into a spinning bird kick or pulled off a fatality as Scorpion?
Then we grew up, got jobs, and learned the pleasures of 3 dimensions.
And we realized Dalsim was just a racist stereotype. We're sorry, Indian subcontinent.
But the King of Fighters series has cranked out a title a year since the Democrats controlled Congress.
Each one of them just as two-dimensional as Paula Abdul.
Here's their latest offering, King of Fighters Neowave. Another year, another King of Fighters tournament. You'd think after 12 years of this, they'd have crowned somebody by now. But King of Fighters Neowave brings the whole gang back for another string of best-of-3s. Once again, fighters from around the world gather to beat the tar out of each other and confront the inevitable Uber boss. You know, I remember a time when this stuff was cutting edge, when the Neo Geo was the true arcade experience brought home, and the games were routinely $100 or more.
Well, that was my disgust.
But that was a simpler, more primitive time, when the X-Files was edgy and Dave Matthews was, believe it or not, relevant. The backgrounds of Neowave are nice enough, but those characters, ugh. Would it kill the folks at SNK Playmore to redraw some of these people? This is some ugly low-res art here. 2D fighters are supposed to look like Guilty Gear now. Neowave attempts to make up for its visual shortcomings by overwhelming you with sheer numbers. 46 characters make up the Expansive Roster, which includes just about every SNK character that has ever thrown a punch.
Winner, stand up!
Even with this prodigious freedom of choice and some decent online play, it's hard to take any of this seriously, except as an anachronistic throwback to the times when thick black lines around character sprites and obnoxious announcers were acceptable.
On the floor! What?
Of course, if you're not old enough to remember the 90s fighting game scene, you'll be left wondering why anyone bothered to play these games in the first place. All I can tell you is that it was another time. We were young, naive, and thought the fade cut would last forever. Saying that King of Fighters Neowave relies on your sense of nostalgia is like saying Marvin Gaye occasionally quarreled with his father. While the gameplay is undoubtedly solid 2D fighting, the whole package is just too ugly and archaic to hold up to 21st century standards, let alone Xbox standards. Maybe SNK Playmore should play more new games. 2 out of 5. It's amazing to think they released a new King of Fighters every year since the early 90s.
But each one basically has the same features, just a few different characters.
In that way, it's a lot like the real world.
Which leads me to my point. I'd like to see a fighter where one of the characters has to confront his latent alcoholism after getting arrested outside of Senior Frogs.
Now that's a good game. Except not.